Before I start this, I would like to bring your attention to Sharif Jabir. In the description are a link to his video and a link to his Patreon account. Any amount helps. Hello YouTube. I'm sure that you probably know by now, unless you're drowning in delusion, that Saudi Arabia is one of the worst places to be a woman, or at least someone they identify as a woman. Not to mention all the other oppressed groups over there. Imagine going to school every day where you'll get into serious trouble if so much as your eyes are showing. Where this is the only acceptable way to be dressed to and from school. Being taught that you're basically property to be used by your husband however and whenever he wishes. Not being allowed outside without a male guardian. Having someone else always decide what you're gonna wear in public, often a black bag covering you from head to toe in the scorching Arabian sun. Not being able to feel the wind or the sun on your face. Not being able to travel or get married without the permission of a male guardian, because you are not entitled to autonomous decision making. You live one life until you get married, then you have a new guardian. This time, someone you barely even know. How it goes largely depends on your luck. Where a man can divorce a woman with one word, a woman does not have that right at all. If she can convince a court of her case, then only sometimes is it possible. In many cases, a woman has to pay large sums of money to be granted one. Sometimes it simply cannot be done. This is the experience of many women in Saudi Arabia. Yes, there are free and incredibly privileged women over there who are able to go wherever they want, work wherever they want, dress however they want, and get married to whomever and whenever they want. But they are only given that basic right through the grace of a man, or someone society identifies as a man, who can take that away at any time. He may never do that, and in that case I am genuinely happy for them and I fully support them in chasing their dreams. But still, women in Saudi Arabia are victimized, so let's not downplay that or straight up lie about it. I know what many are probably thinking. Nobody can speak on behalf of Saudi women, especially not a man. Now that's definitely not what I'm doing. All that I'm doing is trying to expose an oppressive system. After being advised by multiple female friends still in Saudi Arabia. They wanted to share some statements about their situation, so here they are. Once after school, our driver didn't come, and school closed, and of course we didn't have our phones. And we stayed on the street under the sun for 3 hours. And when the school principal saw us, she called our father, and the first thing she told him is, "Your daughter's faces aren't covered, and the men are watching them. How could you let that happen?" And the school guards used to tell the principal every single thing. He'd tell the principal if a girl isn't covering her face properly. He'd tell the principal he watches us. We were supposed to wear super long socks so that when we get into the car, our legs don't show up. Besides the hijab and the face cover, which were never optional. And of course praying wasn't optional either. And once they said they'll monitor our periods, so no one would lie. One of the teachers actually said that she likes her male sons more than her female daughters because she wasn't afraid that they might bring shame to her, unlike her daughters, and the streets would raise them. There's a growing movement within Saudi Arabia, seemingly under the control of MBS, which aims to show it as a modern and forward-thinking place, just like any free country, by showing ultra-privileged individuals, especially women. One such attempt to show Saudi Arabia in a different light is the American magazine A New Kingdom, which is dedicated to spreading Saudi propaganda. It's largely focused on tourism and business prospects. The less obvious example. This is Sukari Life. Sukari Life is a vegan YouTuber and lifestyle vlogger whose content is for the most part apolitical. But here is a video on the situation of women in Saudi Arabia. Although I very much like and respect her as a content creator, and even this video speaks a lot of truth about the situation, the link is in the description, I find certain things that she said to be kind of troubling and in a way flaunting her privilege. It's hard to deny that she is an incredibly privileged woman in Saudi Arabia, and trying to spin the narrative that her experience is similar to what most Saudi women go through is quite counterproductive in my opinion, especially when she says things like this.
A lot of times we are portrayed as victims, and we're farthest away from being victims, honestly. Like, the women I see here are very strong.
I'm not saying this as a slight on her, but as a recognition of a general pattern that's emerging. Or with Raha Harrak, the first Saudi woman to conquer Mount Everest and the youngest Arab woman to do so, on a huge billboard in New York with the hashtag #IamSaudi. Or any of the other countless attempts at marginalizing the problem. This upsets and offends me on so many levels. Let's mention the fact that so many Saudi women are unable to pursue their careers in the way that they see fit. Or the fact that so many Saudi women are unable to travel wherever they want. Or the amazing irony of the fact that a billboard like this would not be allowed in Saudi Arabia simply for the presence of an unveiled woman. The problem here is not that she's proud of her accomplishments. She absolutely should be. But attributing them to such an oppressive culture only serves to hide the truth and hinder the stride towards equality. Simply said, she accomplished this in spite of the culture rather than because of it. All I ask of them is that they don't dismiss or invalidate the experiences of the vast majority of Saudi women by insisting on a false image. There's nothing wrong with doubt, there's nothing wrong with having a different opinion, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with expressing yourself just the way you are. In honor of No Hijab Day, here's a compilation of some brave ex-Muslim women burning their hijabs.
This is what I looked like in Saudi for 26 years. This was put on me before I was a teenager. I was not given a choice in putting this on. And whenever I took it off in public, I was threatened, or I was beaten, or I was kidnapped and jailed. I was called a whore for not wearing it, and I was told that I would burn in eternal hellfire because God would be very unhappy with me. This was not my choice. And I will burn it. That is what a tool of oppression looks like. And that's the fate of all tools of oppression. Done. Thank you. I'm so
Happy No Hijab Day. Yes. Burn, baby, burn.
قطنا هيك ندعس الوادي ندعس كل شيء من اجله وجدان نكشر اجدان من اجل داعش حررنا سوريا عندك كتاب
هلا نوري بدنا نوري يريد ما يريد
حررناها
هلا نوري
كان عندي ثوب الا غيره على
هذا من اجل داعش هذا من اجل داعش
ولا على راسك
كلنا وروا هذا من اجل داعش شايفين شلون ضحكوا شلون
لا ينقط على ابنك
هذا من اجل داعش هذا من اجل داعش هذا من اجل داعش هذا من اجل داعش